It is crazy what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, getting back to the CNN thing just briefly, the glimmer of hope there is we posted a piece that CNN's viewership over just the past year is down 50%. And in the key demographic of young people, it's down 65% in a year. So people are fleeing this mainstream propagandist news in droves, and they're turning to the others out there in the alternative news world that are going to give them truth. And I just think it's inspiring, and it is the absolute glimmer of hope. So I want to hit on that again. Now, Bix, we recently also posted a piece from Goldcore. I titled it "Sorry Rothschilds," but the name of the article is "BRICS Bank to Rival World Bank and IMF and Challenge Dollar Dominance." Now, what's curious, Bix, is the outgoing president of the World Bank, Robert Zoellick, after just a few days ago dismissing the idea of a BRICS-created new global multilateral bank, he's come around and endorsed a BRICS bank in an interview with the Financial Times. So I think what's happening here is that the writing is on the wall, and there are certain nation states that no matter how badly they get bullied by the military-industrial complex of this country, are still going to just march out and try to take back their own sovereignty from these bankers.
Well, I think they got a long road to haul there because, once the U.S. dollar goes, and it will go, there will be no fiat currency. The U.S. dollar was the last global reserve currency. It was kind of the first and last. You can call gold a global reserve currency in the past, but the fiat U.S. dollar was the only unbacked currency that was used globally, and it is failing. And there's not going to be any acceptance to other currencies. Once the U.S. dollar fails, the entire system is going to blow apart. And then, as always happens, people are going to try to restart a new currency. It's not going to work, and then everybody's going to flock to gold and silver. It's happened 3,000 times in history. It's about to happen again. We just happen to be living through the longest time an unbacked fiat currency has been accepted. And it's been since, 71 when we went off the gold standard. That's the longest time any unbacked currency has been accepted, and now it's breaking apart, as they all do, and every single time we go back to gold and silver, it's going to be the same. They'll try to start up a new currency, probably China and Russia will get together and try to do their own unbacked currency, but they always fail. And once you get the king daddy of them all, the U.S. dollar, that's the world reserve currency, once that fails, you can kiss all other fiat money goodbye as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Bix. I posted a piece over the weekend here called Smoking Gun Metals Report, South Carolina Office of the Treasurer concludes the banking cartel has engaged in illegality and artificial price suppression. Now, with some credit to Christian over at goldsilver.com, those folks had also done some reporting about this, I guess at the end of late last week, but then I had a reader send me the actual PDF document and a link to it at the Office of the Treasurer of South Carolina's website. And so I wrote this piece, and it's really staggering, Bix. I don't know if you've seen this, but in this 6-page report, the author says, and I want to quote this for you on page 1, quote, "Similar to other commodities, the value of gold and silver is determined by supply and demand as well as speculation. The Federal Reserve, the LBMA, JP Morgan Chase, HSBC Holdings have practiced fractional reserve banking and engaged in naked short selling, causing artificial price suppression." Now, this is a report from an author that was doing research on behalf of the state of South Carolina to invest their own money as a hedge, as a opportunity to protect the state's money against a financial banking calamity in this country. And he goes on to talk about in page 3 about how even allocated gold certificates are absolutely undependable because of the practice of fractional reserve banking. The author believes that those certificates cannot be counted upon in a bank run. So it's just a fantastic report to see this coming from an official source, a high-level office of a state government in this country, because the truth is out. Everybody knows what's going on here, which brings us back to the wonderful physical story, buying physical precious metals, physical gold, physical silver, because it's so darn rare.
I agree 1,000%, and I did read that report. And, my take is, hey, pile it on top of all the other stuff that GATA has accumulated over the past, 15 years, and you've got a mountain of evidence. You've got the CFTC has even come out, Bart Chilton's come out and said, of course there's been manipulation in gold and especially silver. And, that's the funny thing is that 10 years ago when I was doing this with Bill Murphy and Chris Powell over there at GATA, everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody thought we were absolutely nuts, that we claimed that gold and silver the markets were being rigged. And now it's common acceptance that, yes, they are being rigged now. They were being rigged back then. They were being rigged all the way back into the early 70s with the computer programs that Greenspan invented and John Kemeny way back when with the Federal Reserve and the Council of Economic Advisors. I mean, this stuff has been going on forever, and the mountains and mountains of evidence are just piling up upon each other. And it's great for gold investors today or silver investors today, both of them, because you can come into a world that kind of accepts that there's manipulation going on, and you get the benefit of that manipulation, the end of that manipulation. You didn't have to go through 10 or 20 years of being ridiculed and called John Nadler called us the tinfoil hat gang. I mean, stuff like that was just ridiculous. And Nadler and Jeffrey Christian have been absolutely proven to be the scam artists or fools that they are by saying there's never been any manipulation in gold and silver. I mean, that takes it so far out of the realm of honest analysis that these guys should be, cast out of the industry, if you ask me. They've been hucksters, basically, for the banking cabal. And, it pisses me off that they're still out there talking about, well, we're going to see some weakness in gold and silver over the next few weeks because, Joe Schmo has found a new mine. I mean, the whole thing, every time they open their mouths, is ridiculous. The market is rigged 100% every day. It's time for them to fess up and say, yes, we worked for the banking cabal, so we couldn't tell you guys the truth. Or in Nadler's case, he had set up the certificate pool account, so he was basically trying to protect that. The whole thing is a joke, and those mainstream gold and silver analysts need to come out and say, we were dead wrong, gold and silver is manipulated, and GATA was right.
Right. I'm amused by the way you phrased all that, especially Joe Schmo's discovery of a mine. You're absolutely right, but the one place I disagree with you is that we certainly don't need them to come out and be in our camp, because they're really doing us a favor. They're really a laughingstock, to your point. They're carrying the bag of their banker masters, and I was inspired to post a flashback from 2011 in December. Ned Naylor Leyland had done an interview on CNBC in which he said, the gold paper to physical ratio is a stunning 100 to 1, and 2012 will be the year of delivery. And I wanted to remind people of that because in the interview, Ned said the numbers are pretty frightening. He said that what it means is that there are 100 people who have electronically bought gold, but there's just one bar of gold to back up all those purchases, and anyone who's taking their position seriously needs to switch to physical. So those other bagmasters, Jeffrey Christian at the top of the list, in my opinion, can just continue doing what they're doing, because for those of us who are informed, they provide humor. They really are just for good humor at this point to me.
I agree with you, and for us, if you've been in it long enough and you've read enough, you've built that understanding. But it's the new people who are getting fooled by these guys, and there have been a lot of new people over the past couple of years that really haven't dug into what GATA has uncovered and haven't, really researched it like we have, that are being fooled and conned to sell their gold and sell their silver and invest in these pool accounts. I mean, that needs to end. And until these guys stand down, Nadler and Christian, until they stand down and stop spouting off about, where they want the price of gold to be or price of silver, until they stand down, these guys are going to be fooled. All the new investors, it's hard to get people to see gold and silver as a serious investment, because over the last 30 years, they've been drilled into them by their financial advisors that, no, gold and silver, those are for like crazy silver bugs and, old men and things like that. Those aren't real investments. You need to invest in this ETF for this 401k, and that's what you need to do. And gold and silver, is useless, and everybody thinks it's too volatile, so don't invest in it. And with guys like Nadler and Christian, we can't build the credibility that it is a good investment if they keep spouting off, for these new people, if they keep spouting off about these these things that they really do invent out of thin air, and then they work with their buddies so that gold will go down $50 because John Nadler said, it's about to top, or we've seen a double top, it's about to crash. I mean, it is manipulative, and it hurts our industry, and it hurts people's pocketbooks, and they make good investments investing in gold and silver, and then you get Nadler and Christian scaring them out of it.
Yeah, you actually make a good point. You won me over here because it actually brings our conversation full circle, because where we started with the Ron Paul revolution being entirely ignored by the media is really the same symptomatic problem of this broken paradigm that you're referring to here, and that is a guy like Ted Butler can't get on CNBC. But Nadler can, Jeff Christian can. So the lies will be spewed endlessly, whereas the truth is hidden. And I guess that's why we're out here, Bix. That's why guys like you and me and others are trying to carry the torch of truth to help people understand and see the matrix and see those ones and zeros that otherwise are invisible, because that's what it's all about. Once you recognize and can see the matrix, you won't view that mainstream media garbage the same way ever again. Hey, let's leave people with this idea that 2012 will be the year of delivery. Do you agree with that statement?
Oh, 100%. And I think it's going to be the first half of 2012 because, at some point they're going to run out of metal, and then, everybody will be screaming and scrambling, and there'll be none to get. So I'd say load up now while you can.
All right, very good. Well, Bix, thanks so much for your time. I know you're out traveling today, and we really appreciate you taking the time to check in with us. And anything else you want to leave the audience with before we say goodbye?
Oh, it's always fun when we get together and chat, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next time.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Well, Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Thanks, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, bye-bye.